Hi.
Hi, am I Ulta? What?
Yeah, you're Ulta. So basically, I didn't know how to introduce you. I was like, how should I introduce him? Actor, director, producer, film editor, writer. Oh my God, what else? A
No, no.
sound,
I
a
think you
sound
can. I think you can
people.
just. I think you can just introduce me as the actor because the other things are more for hobby. This is the only one that I do for a living.
No, you were so warm and generous, and the way you treat uh, all people on set, I think that is it's amazing to be so grounded and so humble. So I'm so happy that you came, and I'm so glad to be talking to you. Thank you so much. Now, what I really want to know is, was it always your dream to be an actor?
Um, Gaurami, no, it was not always my dream to be an actor, but um, I did gravitate towards creativity from a very young age. So creativity can be a whole lot of things. It can be from picking up a paintbrush and
Right.
making a painting to writing a poem. Still remember when I got my first camcorder. And back then they used to be really big and they had the screen and they had a cassette. Okay, so it was quite a task to run around with that thing. And my parents had got me one, and I would just randomly go around filming stuff. Not necessarily with me in it, but I always felt this urge, this need to create. And then once I came to college, I'm a commerce student, but I've also done a diploma in advertising. So advertising, of course, requires you to have a certain skill set, be creative. I joined an ad agency, so over there they put me in charge of making print ads for Colgate tooth powder. So I think that's where the seed was firmly put, and then slowly, what started happening is I was still thinking I'll get into writing and direction, like similar to what your journey so far has been, right? I mean, like you do, from what I understand, you do some acting as well. Also, you've done plays and stuff in
Yeah.
Singapore, but you also got into behind the scenes and being an AD. So that's kind of what happened with me. And then people are like, hey, you're a good-looking young chap. Why don't you give it a shot? So I was like, yeah, but I don't know. I mean, because I had serious self-confidence issues. I didn't think I'd be able to hold my own in front of the camera, because you
Really?
know how it is when you're on a set, right? I mean, there's so many people there. Finally, when we are watching a movie, we don't realize, but when you're on set, you realize that, like, especially in a country like India, there are at least
Yeah.
70, 80, 100 people,
Yeah.
like, you could be doing a romantic scene, you could be doing a dramatic scene, an emotional scene, anything, you just got so many people staring at you. So that used to really freak me out. But then slowly but surely, I started kind of getting a grip over it. I feel that also comes with time, age,
Right.
maturity, experience.
Right.
So I think that's how the whole journey started.
So you
And
worked as
yeah,
an AD as well?
yeah. I've worked on 3 films as an AD. I started off in this film called Aao Wish Kare, which is an Indian adaptation of a Tom Hanks movie called Big. It had Aftab Shivdasani and Amna Sharif. So I used to be the clapper boy. So for that, so and in those days we didn't have the black marker. We had the chalk duster. So it was
Oh my
really
God.
icky. It started off with that. Then I had assisted on this one Ken Ghosh directed film with Shahid Kapoor and Janelia called Chance Pe Dance.
Right.
It was a dance-oriented film. I learned a lot on that because like they'd got Justin Timberlake's dance montage and his choreographer down from LA, and like it was quite fancy and stuff. The whole thing, so that was a pretty cool experience. And then I assisted on a Kamal Hassan movie. It was a trilingual. It unfortunately never came out, never got released, never got completed for whatever reasons. It was called Shabash Naidu. It was a comedy, and so he was directing it, and it had him, it had Shruti in it, and he was also acting in it. And
Wow.
that was a fantastic experience. So, ironically, the Kamal Hassan film I AD'd on after I became an actor. So I became an actor. I did 3 movies, and then I had a bit of a window between those movies and the start date for Inside Edge season 1, because I believe Inside Edge used to start in July of 2016. So in April and May and June, I had chutti. So I went to LA and I was a part of this. So for
Wow.
me, even today, I mean, like if I get the right opportunity and the time to do it, I would love to assist, because I believe you learn so much by actually being on a film set. Say I'm not a trained actor or a trained technician, so whatever I've learned is either by being on a set or by watching movies or watching stuff online.
Your first film was Purani Jeans, right?
No, actually, I done a movie before that nobody heard of. It's called Love You Sonio. It was a Viacom produced movie, and yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It was your
So,
first film?
so Purani Jeans was. So I have quite a story with Purani Jeans. It was supposed to be my first movie. At that time, it was being produced by B.R. Chopra's banner, who had made Bagban and Babul.
Right.
But then, unfortunately, his son Ravi Chopra, who was to direct the film, fell really ill, and they had some financial issues, so they were not able to produce it. Then I was supposed to do a movie called Fugly, which eventually Kiara Advani, I believe, was a part of it. It was produced by Akshay Kumar. That didn't work out because the producer ran away at that point in time. So then, after doing the rounds for over a year and a half, I'm like, man, I have to start somewhere. So I signed this movie called Love You Sonio, and I shot it, and then it got like put in the can for about a year and it didn't release. So it wasn't the best of starts. It was really quite a scary and inauspicious start for me. And then Purani Jeans happened with Eros, and then I did the movie with Sunny Leone, One Night Stand.
Right, yeah.
Those were the three films.
And then after that, web series happened, and
Gaurali, so many people ask me that, oh, was it a conscious decision and all, and I'm like, absolutely not, because back then the very thought and idea behind a web series was in its infancy, so no one really knew the power of the web, or how big it could be, and how far the reach could be. But when Excel approaches you for something and they say Amazon is partnering with them, and then you look at the star cast, and then it's got to do with cricket, a game that I love in real life. I mean, it's a bit of a no-brainer. So for me, I mean, that was, probably the best decision of my life, because I feel my career properly started from there. So
yeah. I love Inside Edge. Okay.
Yeah, I also love Inside Edge. along with being an actor, I am a big fan of the show. See, just like no one sets out to make a bad film or a bad show, it's not like when we're making it, we know that something is 100% going to work. So right now, in hindsight, we may be like, Inside Edge, this, that. But honestly, Gaurani, when we were shooting season 1, we all knew we were onto something interesting, and it could be edgy, and it had a good vibe. The vibe on set was really nice. But no one knew that it would work on the level that it did. I mean, like, if you told me when I started the show that, oh, it would end up being this massive hit, and we would have now 3 seasons, and we would be nominated for the Emmys and stuff, I'd be like, get out, like that's just a pipe dream. But that's the beauty of being part of this business, right? I mean, there's so many glorious uncertainties you don't know. So for me, it was I actually found season 2 to be more challenging, in the sense that now there was a certain sense of pressure, responsibility, and expectation from the audience as well as from everyone we were working with, because we had a hit product, and now we had to make sure that season 2 either was on par or exceeded season 1.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, everyone was thinking on the lines that, oh, this worked, so maybe we should maximize this. So and I feel personally, as an actor, that's not a very healthy headspace to be in, because whatever I did in season 1 came from my heart, right? I mean, like, it was instinctive, and then of course Karan, Guru, the writers, we all kind of fine-tuned it to finally get what we see on screen. So it was important for me to be as honest and willing to let go and willing to learn with the character for the second season. So if I keep just being one unaltered version of Vayu Raghavan every season, every episode, you're soon as an audience going to get bored of it, and as a performer, I will get bored of it.
Right.
So without changing him completely, I need to find a logical evolution. Like, it's how it is in real life. Now we met when we were shooting last year for season 3. I'm sure today you are a bit changed as a person. You've evolved. There'll be something different about you, which maybe you can't see because you're with yourself all the time. But people, like, now, when I see you next, I may be able to tell the difference. So similarly, when you're essaying these characters, there has to be a natural progression and evolution to them. So that only happens if you have the hunger and the will to see it.
But are you self-critical when you watch yourself in web shows or films?
Yeah, absolutely.
Very?
I'm very critical of all my work, and I don't know. It's a bit of a double-edged sword, because sometimes it's good because that keeps you humble and that keeps you hungry, but sometimes you end up barking up the wrong tree. Like I don't know, like I'd be like, oh shit, my makeup's not fine in the shot. Oh, my hair's not fine. Oh,
Yeah.
why the hell is my left sleeve lower than my right sleeve? Oh, I'm hunching over here. Oh my god, why am I like making my eyes so big while saying that dialogue? Why do I have like these laughter lines on my forehead? Oh, my laugh is looking fake. Oh, I didn't have enough throw in my voice during this. Like a whole lot of things. Like I'm a mess when I'm, especially when I'm in the dubbing studio, right? Because that's when you're properly, like if you notice me, I mean you've been on set with me, so I don't really go to the monitor much when I'm shooting, for a couple of reasons. One is because I feel that kind of makes the director feel that you don't trust their vision, which I think is not fair. And secondly, it makes me very self-conscious, like
Yeah.
so I'm like I need to do my stuff in front of the camera. Obviously, we have prepared enough and we know what is expected from us. And unless and until a director calls me to see a particular shot, or like, I mean, maybe there's a certain cool shot which everyone is gathered to see, I don't really like watching myself at that point.
Right.
So the first time I properly see myself is when I'm in isolation in the dubbing studio, and I get super critical.
Wow.
So
So
yeah,
you never see
yeah.
yourself in the morning on set? Never.
I used to. There was a time when I started off in my career, and I would like as soon as they yell cut, I would run to the monitor, and over a period of time, I'm like, this is just ridiculous. Why am I doing that? I'm not directing this. It's my director who will point out anything that he needs to tweak or change in my performance. So you have to. I wouldn't like it tomorrow if someone is just coming on into my space on set and kind of calling the shots and telling me what to do. So I have to extend that courtesy as well. So yeah,
Right.
I don't like to do that much.
In Mumbai, there are so many hoardings with posters of films and. Okay, when was the first time you saw yourself on the poster on a hoarding?
Oh, that was such a joyous occasion for me. It was for my first film, and
Love you,
so
Sonia.
yeah, I love you, Sonia. And I was driving back home, and there's this petrol pump which is right across the road from my house, and uh, I suddenly saw like a massive picture of myself and the actress in the film, and like I believe I was on a bike, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, and I just screamed out of excitement, and I stopped. I was driving, so I suddenly chatka se pulled over my car, got out. One of my friends, he was with me, so I went and I stood under the hoarding, and then he clicked a picture of me, and it was really special. But I'll tell you what was hoarding wise the most special feeling to me actually happened now in December when Inside Out season 2 came out, because so in Bombay, there's a junction, and right in the middle is this amazing thing that they've made where there are 9 hoardings. And I would see all the big shows. I would see like a lot of the Netflix shows like Sacred Games. I would see some of the English shows. They would come on all 9 hoardings. And if you look at all 9 hoardings from a distance, it looks like one big hoarding. And I'm like, man, I want to be on that hoarding someday. Like I really want to be on that. I remember I was on my way to Akasha inside season 2 director's house. We were having a little celebration just before season 2 came out, and I'm driving from my place, and I see this massive hoarding, right? And as the closer I come to it, it kind of reveals itself, and Angad and me are boom right in the center of that piece, and I was elated. I was so happy. Like it's not a feeling like, oh, now I've arrived and all, but it was just such a gratifying feeling. Like I really like just thanked whatever higher power there is up there, because
Right.
like I know how my journey has started. I know that there's been a fair amount of failure and fair amount of struggle. So to see myself on that was truly special.
But how did you get Inside Edge? Did they write the character for you?
No, they didn't write it for me. Yeah. So what happened is I got a call from the guys at casting. They are Mola Uja and Abhishek Banerjee, who I think are two of the finest casting directors we have in the industry. So I got a call from them, and they sent me an audition scene. So it was like any regular audition, like you go there and you do your thing. But once I got there, I realized that, so I was performing the cheerleader scene from the first episode of season 1. And I get there, it's like this small room and there's a computer chair, there's a camera person, there's an AD and there's me. It's just us, right? And they're like, so आपको ऐसे करना है तो हमने वहाँ पर cheerleader कैसे करूँगा? जी हाँ, तो ये जो chair है उसके साथ आप कर लीजिए और हमने हाँ पर मुझे वो चरस वरस फूकना है तो वो कैसे करूँगा? वो तो make believe है तो आप pretend आप उसको mind कर लो. So I'm literally going with the computer chair and doing the whole scene and try to show the aggressive part and the camera was framed only so much so it wasn't vulgar or whatever, but I mean when you're performing it in the moment, like sometimes you're like what the hell's going on. I really went all out. So and then I got it, and then a couple of days later I met Karan for the first time, and well, let's just say we didn't look back from there.
What struggles did you have, when you were starting out with your first film as well? Did you,
even now,
do you think the struggle
is... A
lot
of people have this misconception that because my mom has been a star and been an actor for such a long period of time in the industry, that it was easy for me. And I mean, sorry to burst that bubble, but that really wasn't the case for a couple of reasons. Because people would have trouble getting the connection between her and me because she still goes by her maiden surname, which is Nepotism, and my surname is Virwani, of course. So people sometimes will not get the connection. And secondly, she is not into any of these Bollywood camps, or she's not. She doesn't fraternize with people from the industry. So she has her own life, and she always told me that she made it on her own because of her hard work, dedication, and of course you have to be at the right place at the right time. So she wanted me to be my own man as well. She never wanted me to have the cushion of being launched. I mean, like, she could have launched me. She could have gone and approached producers on my behalf, but she wanted me to struggle, because I feel the more you struggle, the more you value it, and the hungrier you are, whatever field, whatever line of work you are in. And it reached a point in the first 3 years where I did 3 films in my first 3 years, and it was all gloom and doom, man. Nothing worked out. Nothing worked at the box office. The reviews were bad. They told me I was unemployable because I was like box office poison, and it's really bad. People can be quite nasty when you're not doing well in the industry. And then, of course, the perception started changing after Inside Edge came out. I believe that being related to or having a famous parent is a bit of a double-edged sword. Yes, you do get access to people within the fraternity, to meet directors, to meet producers, actors. But at the end of the day, when people are putting money, and especially when you're striving to be a lead actor, not just a character actor, you may still get away because you're not carrying the project on your shoulders. But as a lead actor, the producer is finally going to be concerned with, are you good enough, and can you carry the project on your shoulders? Can you shoulder that responsibility? So you may get your first break, you may even get your second chance, but after that you have to rough it out, man. And that's just the way it is, So mom always tells me, she's like, it's a very, very up and down yo-yoing wala industry, right? I mean, like today we're talking, by the grace of God, I'm doing pretty okay and stuff. So things are looking good. But you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know what's going to happen post-lockdown. Maybe things get better, maybe things get worse, maybe things stay the same. But there will be some change, I feel. So you can't let that success go to your head. And at the same time, you can't take the failure to your heart, because either ways, you're kind of writing your own demise. You want to work with stars and actors who are bigger than you because you get a larger audience courtesy of that. So that's I'm not interested in being the biggest actor on the project. I don't want to be paid the most. I want someone to be paid more than me, because that means they have a bigger audience than me, and vis-a-vis them, I will be able to reach a wider audience. So that's my personal way of thinking. Ironically, 5th of May 2016 is when One Night Stand released, and it wasn't a bomb, but it didn't do well either. And you won't believe it, that very same day, Guru calls me up from Excel. Gurmeet Singh, and he tells me that, okay, so we want you on board. So when can you come in and when can we discuss this? So it's almost like it was fated, right? I mean, what are the odds of that happening? 5th of May, 2016.
Wow, you even remembered the date.
I mean, that was probably one of the most special phone calls I have received in my life so far, yeah? And I can't forget it.
Is there any character that you really want to play, or be a part of any film? It could be from anywhere.
I definitely want to dabble in comedy. It could be physical humor. It could be the more deadpan British humor. Either ways, I mean, but I feel that I could kind of be pretty decent and funny at that. And I've not got the chance to really go all out comedy as yet. So I'm hoping I get the chance to do that. I would like to do a biopic because, like, see, normally we are creating fictional characters, but when you're playing a real life personality, that comes with an added sense of responsibility, and then it's interesting in a way because you're literally like, see, like when I'm playing Vayu, for example, right? I'm basing him on a bunch of people that I'm observing. But if tomorrow I had to play a certain character in a biopic, I have one and only one reference point, not two, not three. It's not fiction, nothing. I kind of prefer myself in like dark, edgier roles. So I can't say it's a dream role or something because I am doing a couple of projects. Here, I've got this other Amazon Prime show coming up called Kamati Pura, and in that I'm playing the villain. I'm playing a sex trafficker, and like he has no redeeming qualities about him. Like he's all black, and it was, and I did this right after, just like days after I shot Inside Egg. Okay? So coming from that set and going to that set was such a crazy experience because they couldn't have been more poles apart from one another. Casey, you remember Casey, right? Who does my hair on Inside Edge? So she did my hair on that show, and I was wearing a wig on that show because I have like long hair. We didn't have enough time for my hair to grow from. And she's like, I can't recognize you. Like I've gotten so used to seeing you as that character, and all of a sudden you're like, like you're looking different, you're behaving different, your walk is different, and it gave me confidence that I think I'm doing something right over here because that's exactly because somewhere she's also my audience, right? So the fact that she responded like that, it's not like I asked her. She just soundlessly came and told me. And I'm like, okay, so maybe this is a good career move. And it felt very liberating. It's so liberating to play a negative character, and just go all out. Like it's so much fun. I'd done this one acting workshop, and they had this trust exercise where you and your co-star stand and the other person stands behind you, and you have to shut your eyes and just completely fall at the back, right? And the more you trust your co-star, the more you trust the person standing behind you, the more kulla say you'll just completely let go. And sometimes if you don't trust them, then you'll just kind of like, I don't know, I think I'm going to hit my head or something, So the same thing applies to acting. When you trust the people you collaborate with, your directors, your writers, your co-stars, most importantly yourself, you can completely let go. And only when you completely let go, see, acting is a combination of what's on the page and what you bring to the table, And together you need to sort of create that perfect storm.
So I remember that when you were shooting for Inside Edge, you were also juggling between two shoots, were you?
I was shooting a Codem also, side by side,
So how do you kind of deal with, because you're playing Vayu once, then you're playing a different character. How do you
God. It was crazy because I mean, for the first time in my career, I was working. I mean, touch wood, I was working on two shows back to back. It hasn't happened before, and it's not even happened since then. Actually, I actually prefer working on one show at a time because then you can fully commit to that character and to that world that you're inhabiting. Because you can either play a character or you can inhabit a character. I, maybe not being a trained actor, I don't know how to switch on and switch off that well. So my constant fear when I was shooting for Codem was that I just keep going and asking the director, I'm like, hey, I hope I'm not being Vayu now. I hope this is a fresh character. Man. And because he had seen Inside Edge, so he's like, no, you're not. Then one day he told me, he's like, bro, today you're being Vayu. I need you to not be Vayu on my set. Sorry, just give me like 10 minutes. Let me just kind of refurbish my mind and get back to you. Because it was crazy. I remember we were shooting some of the hotel portions at BKC, Sofitel or one of those hotels. And I would finish that. And then I'd drive to Pune and I would shoot there.
Yeah.
And then I'd come back And there was this 1 week where I did this thrice. So I'm shooting for Inside Edge. I drive to Pune. I shoot there. I come back. I shoot for y'all. I drive back. I shoot there. I come back again. I go there, and then finally my week gets over. And dude, I felt like I'm some kind of split personality, bipolar human being. I'm like, what's going on? Like there's a Kodam character, Anga, there's the Inside Edge character, Vayu, then sabke beech mein there's me, Tanuj. Like, where are we going? It was like, yeah, it was crazy. I've not mastered that, man. And I personally think unless and until it's an emergency situation or there's really no option, one as an actor, you must try and do one project at a time. Yeah.
Because of the lockdown, a lot of Bollywood films are releasing on these OTT platforms. Of course, the gap was sort of bridged when, Saif Ali Khan did web series with Sacred Games, or even other actors are doing web series, but there was still this sort of gap which existed. But do you think because of the release of these Bollywood films in these OTT platforms, do you think that this gap has sort of bridged or is bridging?
See, I don't think... Look, Gaurangi, I feel all these films releasing on OTT is less a matter of design and more a matter of, lack of choice or compulsion, right? Because they were obviously produced and designed to release on the big screen. I just feel we will have a better idea when we start putting in more money and more development fees into the web space, and when bigger actors come, like see right now you've got Saif, you've got Madhavan, you've got in our own show, you've got Vivek Oberoi, recently Abhishek Bachchan. So you already have these guys coming, but I'm talking like proper A category stars. When they start making their foray into the digital medium, that's when I feel the bridge will get gapped.
So you have a lot of work on your plate now, because you're doing 2 web series, 3 I guess. So you're doing one called Seven Senses, and then there's one more.
Oh yeah, so I'll tell you what my lineup is. So right now we've got, so I've already finished shooting for the Amazon show called Kamari Pura, where I'm playing the antagonist. Then we've got, of course, our show, Inside Edge 3. I was in the middle of shooting for this show that I'm really excited about for Old Balaji called Cartel. I'm playing like the head of this mafia family in that, and it's called it's got Jitendra Joshi, Ritik Dhanjani, Supriya Pathak, Monica Dogra, Tanisha Chatterjee. Really interesting eclectic star cast, and that's something that I'm looking forward to. You will get to see a different facet of maybe my personality I'm acting in that. Then I've got a show coming, next one for Netflix, where it's just a cameo. It's a fun little thing called Masaba. It's called Nina Gupta and her daughter Masaba. Yeah. So it's just like 1 day's shoot, but it was a sweet little thing. Then towards the end of the year, we're looking at commencing work on Kodam season 2. So that should be fun. I know what this main story is. So I'm really excited about that. Then there's Seventh Sense, so which I need to shoot in Dubai. That's with Madhavan. And then there's another show called Line of Fire.
But I'm so excited to watch all the shows now, especially with so much coming up, and I'm sure you're very excited too. Thank you so much for coming. I was.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Yeah. And I have to say, I mean, I'm not saying this because I know you, but you really asked some really intelligent, smart questions. So kudos to you, and keep up the good work in everything that you're doing.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.